your picks. Give me your insights. I want the bets from Betting Weekly, because we win. That is our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the bird, don't give us your stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show. That River sponsor. It's time to start. Enjoy the show.
Welcome in, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live, Thursday, the 8th of January, with Steve Wyss and Jack Wright. How's it going, Jack?
Well, all the better now. What an intro that was.
Have you never heard that? Have you never had that one?
I've not had that one. No, I've not had that one.
Really?
So I love it. Yeah.
It's a good one.
I wish I'd put my Czech shirt on now.
I'm
very well. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. It's I'm doing okay, thanks, Jack. Apart from Leeds' result last night, but
what a game!
It is what it is.
What a game!
Game of the season
for me as a neutral. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for Leeds, obviously, like because of you. I've got a couple of other mates who are Leeds fans as well, and Daniel Farker. So they're a little bit of my Premier League team, to be fair. So I want, as my team, we're going to get nowhere near that. I think that I'm sort of rooting for you guys this season, and I did want you in. So and obviously also the Hitman Hughes gives me absolute pelters all the time. So if his side are getting turned over, I'll be quite happy with that. But what a game for me! Game of the season, a real roller coaster, and it sums it up, doesn't it? That the first time that Newcastle take the lead in that game was in the final 30 seconds, like 102nd minute. It's absolutely crazy. And I think they said it in commentary on the our side of the pond. Certainly, that is what makes the Premier League special and why everyone wants to watch it.
Do you know what? There's some notable long odds winners from that match, which kind of make me sick a little bit here, Jack. But well done to these particular bettors. $25 was placed on Newcastle Leeds over 6.5 goals at 33-1. And that netted someone nearly $1,000. It gets better. $100 on Newcastle money line to beat Leeds at 25-1. That netted someone $2,500. And this one makes me sick because I'm sick of this player. We should sign him just so he doesn't score against us. $35 on Harvey Barnes, next goal scorer for Newcastle Leeds, 25-1, and that netted someone nearly $1,000 as well.
Holy smoke! Well, on the Premier League show, I had a bit of a disaster, as Byron has pointed out, as we'll come to his comment in a moment, I'm sure. I had a shocker with my official picks, and that's not the first time this season, obviously, and some good leans. One of those leans was Bruno Guimaraes to score, and that cashed. It was plus 450 at the time of putting it forward, but it was plus 250 by the time we recorded it. But I did send it to Hughesy, and I said, I like corners, your favourite in that game as well. Combined the two, and it was plus 1,200. And a Guimaraes goal and over 10.5 corners. So that was my gambit on that one, but not a patch on some of those ones. Incredible in-play bet in there. Very nice.
Some incredible bets. Yeah, it really is. Biggest bet in the soccer world yesterday was $20,000 on Tottenham to score in the first half against Bournemouth. Plus 110. Happy days. Really good winner there on that front. So... yeah, that was well done. Well done to that particular bettor. Welcome in, everyone. Ray Burt, good to see you. 2 meter, good to see you from Nuuk in Greenland. I mean, it just shows you how the diverse areas that we broadcast to in the world. There, Dave Clark, good to see you. Leslie Ming Chung, Man United let me down a little bit yesterday as well. I did have a nibble of them in the end, Ming. I know you were really confident about them. I think from what you said on the chat yesterday. Dave Clark missed a 3-team parlay on Man City, and that it was one of those where they took the lead, they just couldn't do enough.
Did you watch that game, Steve? Did you watch the Man City game?
Not seen any of that game, no. But I mean, what did you think?
Some of the misses in that game were absolutely. That game should have been 4-4 without any shadow of doubt. Anyone on over 3.5 or anything like that were absolutely sawn off yesterday on that. Haaland missed a effective open goal from 7 yards. I think he had 8 or 9 shots in the end. Like open goals and 2 or 3 open goals were missed, and like great chances were missed. And yeah, Brighton were playing suicide ball across their penalty spot. Ayari laid it on a plate for Bernardo Silva and for Haaland in the same game. He was nearly in tears on the bench after he got substituted on the basis that he should have been made to pay double in that, and he got off both times. So yeah, how that ended 1-1, absolutely no idea.
Yeah, and just looking through some of the comments here, Real Brandon King about Man United, who knew a back four and Bruno as the 10 wouldn't solve anything. That's not good enough for me. They've got to be beating Burnley. Just simply not acceptable, really, to even concede 2 goals against them, to be honest with you. Newcastle Leeds was crazy. Producer Troy enjoyed that game. Straight madness, as he's called it there. Stuart Johnson said, good to see both teams going for it. I think we've lacked a bit of that in the Premier League at times this season. So, yeah, I do agree with that one. How was there 12 minutes added on time, Byron? Well, there was a really, really bad injury to Cher, but only plus 10 was added. So I don't know how Newcastle were allowed to score in the 102nd minute. That part, you can certainly debate on that. Nico Leo, yes, I am looking forward to the Bundesliga coming back. And the great freeze in Germany. I'm looking at under goals in near enough every game, Nico, to be honest. The temperatures there, I think the whole 95% of the country has currently got snow on the ground in Germany right now. And it's not set to get much warmer from what I do believe.
How is it up your part of the world at the moment, Steve?
At the minute, fine. And hopefully it stays that way. I hate snow. I don't like it now at all. It just gets in the way of lifestyle and everything. And my road is just never gets treated. It's an ankle breaking territory, mate.
Indeed. You've had enough of that, haven't you? Like FA Cup, just very quickly, part of the reason I asked is obviously after your own welfare, but also it's FA Cup weekend this weekend in England, which is a massive weekend, 3rd round. But obviously we have a lot of the very small teams going into action this weekend that don't have like the undersoil heating and don't have the prevention for coping with that kind of weather. So I was wondering about the postponements this weekend, and be careful on that when you tackle that on this weekend slate.
It can be borderline. I think also now there's due a lot of rain/snow coming in. There could be waterlogged pitches and everything.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some really, really random results in the FA Cup this weekend, Jack. I think there's going to be some huge shocks for a lot of different reasons, and the weather is just one of them. So, I wouldn't be putting people off taking huge stabs on money lines or handicaps on certain teams.
I like a lot of unders. There's going to be games that are going to go massively over. I like a lot of unders purely on the basis that I don't think we've seen a more brutal fixture list for Premier League sides and some of the EFL sides going into these fixtures. And that this week, midweek, where we've had an extra Premier League round of fixtures put in, because I think like how Christmas fell this season, I think that's taken out of. And like I say, Palace we've talked about Palace a lot, but this weekend, early kickoff on Saturday lunchtime against the non-league side, that's going to be their 12th game since December the 3rd.
It's a ridiculous schedule, and that's one of the reasons I think there will be quite a few shocks across the board. So I quite like your angle as well.
A lot of rotation. So team news. Look out for team news. Is the biggest piece of advice I can give anyone.
Tipster Uluha, good to see you. Can Liverpool score tonight? We'll be talking about that game. And he says, "Hello, legends. Let's have some fun." That's a message on X. I think you can. I was watching Tuesday's episode on X. Actually, it's really good now. They've done a great job integrating it. So I know we do have a lot of people watching on X. So do comment if you can. And Joe, we're going to be that's the headline game, Arsenal. But there are other fixtures today we've got to crack on with. The early fixture in Italy, and I think it's the toughest game of the day, actually. Cremonese against Cagliari. Cremonese plus 150, Cagliari plus 220, the tie plus 185. Cagliari must have, our record on Cagliari games across the last 3-4 years since this channel started must be the worst of any team, I think, Jack. So they are the bane of our existence. And Cremonese, well, I must say I've really struggled on them this season. What I will say is that these are two of the biggest overachieving sides in Serie A. If you look at underlying metrics and stuff like that, these guys should be both of them in the bottom 3, along with Lecce. And that always makes me a little... When two teams like this play against each other, I really find it even more difficult to find an angle. I normally got a lean or something or some sort of suggestion, but I've got nothing Absolutely nothing whatsoever. I don't think I'm even going to watch this game because nothing good will happen to me. I'll get sucked into an in-play. Dan Roebuck says the overs in the Cremonese game. Welcome in, Dan.
Okay.
Have you got anything here at all? Are you a bit stumped like me?
Yeah, it's not one that I'm racing to part with my money on, to be honest. But I just looked at a couple of stats that stood out. If you do want to have a bet, it's a bit of a set and forget, really, to be honest. You can stick a bet on maybe halftime tie or even a 0-0 halftime. Both these sides have got really poor first half records as far as goals are concerned. So I was just looking at the stats on it, and Cagliari has scored 2 goals inside the first half an hour this season, so they're very much low scoring side. And as far as Cremonese is concerned, no side's failed to score before halftime in more games than them. They've failed to score in the first half of 13 Serie A fixtures so far this season. So that does point towards, from what we've talked about there as well, that these two sides that really should be sort of struggling a bit more. If you're going to have a little wager, if you're looking to do something, let's go on a tie at halftime.
Even money you can get on that. And if you want the 0-0 halftime, plus 145. So, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. Neither side are particularly prolific in front of goal. I mean, the whole of Serie A struggled in front of goal this season. There's only one team, Jack. This is according to Understat. I can barely believe this stat. Only one team is overachieving its expected goals in Serie A.
Is it right?
See if you can guess which team is overachieving.
It's going to be somewhat ridiculous, isn't it? I don't know. Genoa.
It is actually one of these teams involved in this fixture, Cagliari, and only by 0.7 of a goal. So every other team isn't. What is going on there? Like, is it a case of super keepers? I think it's just terrible finishing, to be honest with you. The finishing is an absolute disgrace at times. But Cremonese have overachieved defensively by nearly 12 goals. So they're like the Sunderland of this league. So, and we all know what happens eventually to the Sunderlands of leagues. They will get found out, just like they did last night at Brentford. But I think Cagliari can actually do that. Whatever happened to the orange ball with games in the snow? I don't know, actually, Mike. I think they change the winter ball design every year. But I think the leagues. Yeah, go on. Italy,
where some kind of fluorescent reddish. I think it's more red than orange ball at the moment. Serie A, it's like
there is one league that changed their design because they wanted to accommodate people with colour blindness. I'm pretty sure, which I think it's an interesting one. I think maybe it was Italy, something like that. It was to do with along those lines anyway. So yeah.
Very vibrant at the moment.
One.
We'll take that.
Anyway, I'll give you some betting splits here today. Actually, 79% of the money is on Cagliari. 76% of the tickets are on Cagliari as well, and 71% of the money's on the over-under. So, interesting one there that Cagliari have got the money and the overs have got the money. A couple in chat here. Ginepi says I'd lean the over as well. Maybe that's the one where we can go. I'm not getting involved in this game. Like I said, I'm not even sure if I'm going to watch it because I never bet on Cagliari very often. I bet on them last Friday and I got beaten. Cremonese, I actually bet on them last weekend and I got done in. So, MT Sports, welcome in from X. Cagliari over 5.5 corners. You're speaking my sort of language. I can't ever really looked. Serie A and corners don't usually mix as well with me, but fair play, MT Sports. That's a good one. Right, we're moving across this kickoff time, by the way, is in about an hour and a quarter in Serie A. We now move, actually before that, I want to remind people of the Betting Weekly bonus bet, which was put on screen in the comments a little bit earlier. But if you've got your eyes on a plus money bet at Bet Rivers, Betting Weekly is giving you a little bit of pizza money to lock it in. Use our pizza money bonus code Betting Weekly 1218 to get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money bet at Bet Rivers. But you've only got until January the 11th to redeem that one, which is, time is ticking down on that. We gave out a few suggestions yesterday on the plus money play. I gave out Fiorentina, which was close, but no cigar. Nigel gave out Thiago as a great plus money play yesterday, plus 105 to score any time. He was plus 425 to score 2 or more. Maybe, I'm hoping someone maybe got on that, potentially with either free bet or the bonus bet or any bet for that matter. But do remember, to redeem that if you've not already. 3 days left to do it. Into the Trophée de Champion, which is in France.
Oh, it's France.
It's not going to be hosted in France. It rarely is these days. But it is PSG against Marseille, and we're in Kuwait, of all places.
Of course we are.
Very random. 60,000-seater stadium here for the Trophée de Champion, the equivalent of the French Super Cup. PSG minus 200, the tie plus 340, and Marseille plus 475. And we've got a really high goal line here, which I personally think is a bit too high. I think the Super Cups change in each league the mentality. For example, the Spanish Super Cup, I think all the teams are up for it, the big teams especially, always looking to outdo each other, looking to put on a show, looking to score goals. This Trophée de Champion has been notoriously low scoring, actually, Jack. In the last 12 editions, only 2 matches have gone over 3.5 goals, which I think that was an interesting stat. The last 4 have been both teams to score no. And I think under 3 Asian goals is worth looking at here in the PSG Marseille game. It's actually plus money now for that. There's been money for the overs in the last sort of half an hour. And I don't really understand it because PSG badly let down me and James at the weekend. Marseille were really poor at the weekend as well. And I think one thing I've kind of forgotten about is that the whole soccer schedule's changed in the last couple of years because of the new Champions League matches that are in January. And I think teams are gearing up for a long month everywhere, let alone England. And I think it's a case of the team just want to get in and out of fixtures, doing the bare minimum to win games, don't get any injuries. And I'll be honest, I think for both teams, this is just an inconvenience. They don't want to be going out to Kuwait this time of year, apart from the warmer weather. That's a bonus. But they've got to come back. They've got to play Coupe de France at the weekend. They've just played a round. PSG obviously have a very, very good record in this, but they've not been that amazing. Last season was only a 1-0 win against Monaco in Qatar. They beat Toulouse 2-0 a couple of years ago. Like I said, the last 4 editions have been both teams to score no. So I'd be very, very careful that for those who just presume this is going to be an all-out shootout. I'm not sure it will be. And by the way, the reverse, the initial fixture this season, Marseille did beat PSG 1-0 down at Stade Velodrome. It was a really tight game, not much in it at all. So for me, I mean, both teams score no. I'm actually not going to back that because, this is in some ways a glorified friendly, but I think under 3 Asian here plus money. Is there really going to be 4 goals inside 90 minutes here? I think it goes straight to penalties anyway. That is the angle I'm going. I'm going on the history of this competition plus the current situation for both teams. If you had a look at this game, any thoughts?
I was the same opinion, really. Once I realised it was in Kuwait, to me, it felt like it was going to be one of those games that they go out there and sort of go through the motions to a certain degree. And then you can throw into the mix the respective recent form, be it in the reverse fixture, in the fixture earlier in the season, and also PSG's record in this kind of competition or in the final. And it's it just felt to me that I'd go on the underside of things as well. And more of a sort of a laboured game. You've got the travel out there, you've got the conditions out there as well. It's a completely different setup, isn't it? And as you said, they've got to fly out there and they fly back. It's one of those, I think, that it feels to me it's going to be a bit of a subdued affair. Someone's made a point there as well, as far as when you haven't got that support to drive teams on as well. You get that kind of charity pre-season friendly feel about it, and I think that could descend into that as well. Yeah,
Random King mate asked a really good question. As an un-European, do people over there actually care about these Super Cups and Trophée des Champions? Do the players care that much? My answer would be probably no, not as much. Look, it would depend on players on certain teams, but I think it's just a bit of an inconvenience now. I mean, what's wrong? I must say, I am often critical of how English soccer schedules stuff, but we get it right, Jack, by having the Community Shield as the first game of the season, right? Yeah. We're not messing around with these glorified stuff abroad. I mean, one of the reasons they're doing this is to get the money in. The league generating money from Serie A was out there in the Middle East as well. Saudi Arabia is hosting the Spanish Super Cup, which we'll talk about soon. Kuwait are getting this one. The league need the money. The clubs get the money from that, but for the players, I'm not sure about it, and that's why I think you've always got to be a bit careful. Certainly in this Trophée des Champions, it's not the end of the earth if either team really loses it. Marseille did beat PSG last time. There might be an element of revenge, like Humble Levadian says there. PSG wants the revenge, and thanks for reminding me Marseille are trophyless for 14 years. It can't be 14. Is it really 14 years, Humble Levadian? I feel like there was a French Cup in there somewhere, or a French league. Surely it can't be 14 years, can it? That was when they last won the league, I know that, but surely it's a cup somewhere after that.
We don't really, in England, we don't really classify the Community Shield or the Charity Shield as it used to be as a trophy, really, do we? There is one, but it's like something to put your biscuits on more than anything else, isn't it? It's not really a one to be proud of. Like, obviously, I'm not degrading that because Crystal Palace won it this season. For them, I'd imagine not. And again, I say I'm not talking down on Crystal Palace, because if my side won the Community Shield, I'll probably be raving about it. We'd do an open top bus tour, but not going to happen. So I guess this depends on the sides. But if you've got those like the PSGs of this world, is it even a trophy? Maybe I say if Marseille haven't won one for such a long time, it suddenly becomes a little bit more important. But
if Marseille win it, I'll class it as a trophy. How about that, Jack? But for PSG, it's just a notch in their ever growing cabinet as such. That's a 1 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. I think I'm going to have a small bet on under 3 Asian goals there. I'm never, ever going to bet big on these Super Cups unless I've got a serious angle. But I will be having a bet on that under 3 Asian goal line. We have also got the Spanish Super Cup today and more Serie A action, but we've got to go into the main event here. Actually, before that, I'll tell you this betting splits for the game. 93% of the money on PSG and 88% of the money on the over in this match. No real surprise. The headline game in the Premier League comes in London. Arsenal against Liverpool. Arsenal are now, minus 182 with Bet Rivers. I need to check if that's actually, it is. That is the latest odds. I mean, that is incredible, actually, for Arsenal. Tie plus 320. Liverpool 5-1. That must be the biggest price they've been in a Premier League game for a long time, in a match that actually matters. Remarkable stuff, really. We had a few questions about Arsenal at the top of the show, and the results for Arsenal have been brilliant in the last 2 rounds. It's actually at such a level. I was looking at the league table. I don't think this is even a must-win game for either side. I think a draw actually wouldn't be terrible for either. Not that Arsenal are going to be playing for the draw, but the way they are set up in the table, it wouldn't be the worst outcome for them. Listen, I know you and Nigel had thoughts on the Premier League show about this fixture. We're now heading into Thursday. There could be some rain around in terms of weather. What is your feeling now about Arsenal as a minus 182?
I personally find them impossible to back at that. And this comes down to the age-old question. We've talked about it at length, haven't we? And we talk on these shows that are we talking about what we expect to happen? And that's a different concept to betting. The value has got to be in Liverpool at this moment in time at that price. I wouldn't necessarily want to bet them, but if I had to have a bet on the money line here, it would have to go on Liverpool, because Arsenal aren't value at that price. Do I think Arsenal win it? I think they probably do. And I think there's a better way in. If you want to get Arsenal on side, there is a better way in on that respect. But that price is just. I had a quick flick through then just to see if anything flared up over the last, when Arsenal played Liverpool and had home advantage, and Liverpool have been nowhere near that price over the last 10 years. I've just gone through the records from then, and the most they've been in that period of time, looking back, is that they're generally round about plus 230 last season. They were plus 220 the season before that. They've never been any higher than plus 350. And you're looking back in 2015 then. So 10 years ago. And even then, they were still quite a way short of this price. And Arsenal are very impressive. We've got them in the ratings, haven't we, as the best side in Europe at the moment. I don't think you can really disagree with that, how they perform, the strength and depth that they've got. the defense that they've got, the attack, the rotation that they can put in. They've coped with some serious injuries, and they've got players. When we talk about the FA Cup at the weekend, they're going to put a very strong side this weekend purely because they can now. Look at the likes of Eze has not started for the last 2 or 3 games, and Trossard and Martinelli out on that left-hand side are battling. Gyökeres is now going to have to face the fact of Jesus is knocking on the door at the moment, and they've got Havertz now back fit. So there's so much competition in those areas, and they've got some brilliant players. They've got best in class in 2 or 3 very important positions. The spine of the side, arguably maybe not that right at the tip at the moment. The jury's out a little bit, but certainly goalkeeper, central defence, central midfield. They've got best in class in those positions, and when you've got that, I think you do become the best in the league, because that's just got every base covered. And I said they've got the ability to rotate players in and out and cover for injuries. Rice out the other day. Yeah, they play slightly differently with those players out, but they've had Gabriel out, massive player for them. The only player they haven't really been without this season has been the goalkeeper. But so that would be big, I think, if he was to pick up an injury or a suspension. But other than that, been very, very impressed with Arsenal.
Do you know what? I think Arsenal definitely are the best team in Europe right now. The defensive underlying numbers they've got are ridiculous. And that to such a level, I know there's quite a few in chat here liking overs and both teams score, yes, but I'm not sure what Liverpool score here. Ekitike, I think, is probably out. I'm just not sure that they're going to hit the back of the net here, Liverpool. And with the weather as well, I was actually drawn to under 2.5 goals at plus 106. Joe Bamber asked at the top of the show if Arsenal win the game, is the title sewn up? I think it is done already, because the chasing pack are just not good enough. Manchester City, injuries have just hit them at the wrong time. Things might have been different if they'd stayed full strength, absolutely. Aston Villa, well, we know that they've dropped points as well recently a bit. So I think Arsenal, if they win the game, 8 points, I think they're already too far ahead, to be honest. So let's talk. You said there's a better way in to get Arsenal on side. What about player props as well for the game, Jack? Talk us through some of that.
Yeah. Player props wise, just looking through it, there's some real interesting angles in, and I think because of the price, this is where you can get a little bit of joy as far as Liverpool is concerned. One player who I think has started to find his feet in the Premier League at the moment is Florian Wirtz. Scored his first couple of goals, and we know what a brilliant player he was in Bundesliga. He's not suddenly going to drop off a cliff as far as his talent is concerned. As always, it's a bit of a climate change, a bit of acclimatization needed when you come into the Premier League, and it can take a season or more. So he's kind of been asked, I think, because of the problems that Liverpool have had in those forward areas, it's been kind of needed for him to hit the ground running a bit quicker than he has. And I guess when you spend that kind of money, you expect it to happen quite quick. But I think for Florian Wirtz to be a shot on target at plus 175, I think that's a massive price. He's had 1 in 6 of his last 8 games, and 3 of his last 4 on the road as well. And we talk about possibly Ekitike being out, but certainly we know there's no Salah and there's going to be no Isak, of course. So you're looking at Gakpo, possibly Ekitike. I wonder if he has been wrapped in cotton wool to get him out for some part of this game. But he might not be there, in which case they're going to be leaning heavily on Wirtz. And yeah, I think a tricky, low center of gravity, skillful player is going to be that kind of player, which is going to have a little bit, a chance probably a little bit more of a joy than more of an aggressive frontline player. So I think those prices, though, there, and obviously all the derivatives of that, just stand out as being the way in as far as a Liverpool player is concerned. I think that's big.
Do you know what? I saw Florian Wirtz. I can't remember what actual site it is. It's one of the German sites. They downgraded him from something like international class to national class in terms of their player rankings of players. He might have a point to prove here, actually, Wirtz tonight. So that's it. That for 1 shot on target, I've got to agree that's a big odds there. Just looking through some of the comments. Slim 88888 says Liverpool plus 1.25 for me. They only lost by more than 1 goal at the Emirates in the last 10 meetings. Interesting one there. Loads of other suggestions here. Humble Levadian says he's got a small bet on Szoboszlai to score a free kick on 62 to 1. That's an interesting one. We'll talk about Szoboszlai in a minute. What else have we got? Second half goals over 1.5 says Cremonese. Arsenal and under 3.5 says Byron. Arsenal win to 0 for Giuseppe. Mike says, I can't see Liverpool scoring or getting many shots. If we do, Frimpong is an assist. I think we've seen that come up in the comments a few times. Talk to me about Frimpong and Szoboszlai, Jack, for this game. Players to perhaps keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Cremonese said about that second half over 1.5 goals. You might want to watch the Premier League show if you want a bit more info on that. But both these sides do tend to have featured quite a lot of second half goal action compared to first half goals. So that's all I'll say. But the more details are in the Premier League show with myself and Nigel. And Dan, of course. Someone mentioned, I'm not going to claim it as my own, but obviously I know about Frimpong, but said don't sleep on Frimpong and the fact that if he's playing, possibly, especially with the injuries they've got in the absence of Salah at this moment in time. So Szoboszlai is out there. Might well decide they want to play him as a right wing back in this game. But he's plus 525 for an assist. I think someone give the price, or just mention the name. But yeah, Frimpong, great ball in against Fulham at the weekend for that second goal, and at the goal they thought was going to be the winner, which wasn't quite. A great player. Obviously, Bet Rivers will void if he doesn't start, but also it's one to keep an eye on the in-play menu. Sometimes a player, especially if he comes on with enough time to get involved, you see some of those big prices that you talked about at the top of the show. It might well be a case that if he isn't starting, he will get added to the in-play menu throughout the course of the game. And then those odds will be even bigger, obviously, because the time decay in the match, you might well see that hitting a double figure number come in play time. So keep an eye on him. I think he's one certainly that it's been flagged up on the comment section of the Premier League show. One I'd certainly endorse as well. And Szoboszlai, someone mentioned there as well, a player that I really, really like. Such a sweet striker with the ball, loves to take a shot from outside the box, and of course was the only goal scorer in this fixture, in the reverse fixture earlier in the season, that 1-0 win for Liverpool. And that was with a free kick, a beautiful strike. Was it 5 minutes from time, something like that, wasn't it?
One of the goals of the season.
Great strike, wasn't it? And that's what he's got in his locker. And obviously being in a more advanced role that he's been playing recently as well, that brings him more into the equation. So I'd be interested in him as far as set pieces as well, because he's generally on their free kicks and corners. But one price that did catch my eye, is he going to repeat the trick, be it from a free kick, as already mentioned in there, or just from open play? Bet Rivers, if you scroll along to the player specials tab, you'll see the opportunity to back players to score outside the box. He's plus 1,100 to score outside the box, which obviously does cover any of those direct free kicks in and around the area, outside the area, and obviously from open play as well. So he'd be one that I'd look at there. Arsenal-wise, I've got to go with the two main people, really. A player, again, I kind of champion all the time, Declan Rice. I think his prices are very, very good as well tonight. Not quite sure why. Maybe they'll think that Mikel Arteta will keep the handbrake on a little bit, keep him in more of a reserved role. I'm not so certain he'll be able to do that. He's plus 143 for a shot on target. He's plus 700 for 2 or more shots on target. And he, of course, scored a brace in that game against Bournemouth recently. He's had 1 shot on target in 9 of his last 13 fixtures in the Premier League, and in 5 of his last 6 at home. Very good, consistent stats. Again, another good strike with the ball, potentially on free kicks as well, which adds to that as well. But plus 143 for 1 shot on target, plus 700 for 2 or more stands out to me. He's plus 180 to score or assist. And as we talk about the set pieces for Arsenal, we know they're so strong there. And he is on those left-sided corners as well as the free kicks. So we know that he's been involved in a lot of those this season. And obviously you get the open play assists as well. And of course, if you're looking at set plays, you've got to get involved with Gabriel, their main man, an absolute monster from set pieces. He just wins that first contact.
Nobody can defend him. It's ridiculous.
You'd think that all the players you've got in the Premier League, all the teams and all the set piece coaches would say, right, how are we going to stop this guy? And it's been known now for over a year, hasn't it? Last season.
Why can't they stop him, Jack? Because you're right. I don't get it now. It's just double, treble teaming. His movement is elite. And obviously his ability to jump as well. But I think his movement and positioning is as good as I've ever seen from a defender in the set piece.
It has got to be his movement. It's got to be obviously his power and his strength, but you've got players of equal power and strength. This is Premier League. You know, we've got some big units in the Premier League, strong, powerful, defensively minded players, but they fear him. And I think also like they put so much time and effort into the blocks. You know, it's a bit more like the line of scrimmage in American football now. The fact that, you know, these blocks to allow the running backs to run through and so on and so forth, been brought into play into Premier League action as far as corners are concerned. And they just give him that little bit of space, be it a block, be it a push, be it someone holding someone. And also the delivery is exceptional from these players now. Declan Rice on the left-hand side, Saka on the right-hand side. The pace, the power, and it's flat. Used to be we'd loop these balls into the box. It's not anymore, is it? It's about 7 feet max height. In it goes. Go and attack it and get your head on it. So he's plus 245 for a shot on target, Gabriel, tonight. He's plus 525 to score. And I'll do that rather than to score a header. I did look to see what the price he was, see if we can get a bit of juice on the header. He's only plus 550 to score a header. So I'd be taking the plus 525 to score by any means, because of course he did score against Bournemouth and it was with one of his feet. So, I'd go with that angle of attack as far as Gabriel is concerned.
Guardian JH says, my bet Arsenal win and Gabriel does Santos to be Cardiff. There's quite a few Gabriels at Arsenal. You got to be careful which Gabriel you get on this one. You know, the old back in the day, you could just put on your betting slip Gabriel to score or Gabriel to be carded, and you got a 1 in 3 or 4 chance. And he might.
There's a few influencers out in the UK that would still do that on the betting slips and try and get away with it. But I'm not going to mention any names.
No. Someone mentioned about Arne Slot, Giuseppe. Is Arne Slot in danger if he doesn't win? I mean, I'd be really surprised if anything major happened with Arne Slot. I mean, I saw him come out with something about his type of soccer is what Liverpool PSG was last season. He said, we haven't changed anything this year. Teams have adapted to us. That's why we've not been as good. And he wants to play open football. He wants to play like it was against PSG. Most teams are not going to let that happen, Arnie, I'm afraid. And Arsenal Football Club definitely won't want to get involved in the shootout. There is a house special in this game, and it's interesting because producer Troy sent me a stat here. First half goals over 1.5 has hit in 6 of the last 7 meetings between Arsenal and Liverpool. The one time it didn't hit was the reverse meeting this season. But the house special is both teams to score in the first half at plus 320. Which, look, I don't really like the idea of goals in this game, so it wouldn't be for me. But if you do like that, and if you like a fast start, plus 320 is very, very generous from Bet Rivers. Would you play that or fade that, Jack?
What was the bet again?
Both teams to score in the first half.
Of course I'd play it. I'm going to ask you a question, Steve. I want to see if you've thrown one out to me about the Serie A. I'm going to throw one out about you, and also fastest finger first in the chat as well in the comments. Let me know, when was the last time Arsenal kept a clean sheet in the league against Liverpool? Are the chat going to beat you, or are you going to beat the chat?
That is a good question. Like, I'm not sure it happened under Jurgen Klopp very easily. Obviously, it didn't happen last season. I would say this is going to be a long time now, isn't it? Let's say as a random guess, 2018.
You were close, but Francis G 9656 is bang on the money with 2015. 2015, 20
That's
games
ridiculous.
Without keeping a clean sheet now in the Premier League.
Against Liverpool. Well, I think that has a chance of ending tonight. This is their best chance. Liverpool haven't got any proper attackers fit. This is the chance.
Ooh, that's a big statement, Steve.
I think that Arsenal win this 1-0, 2-0. That's the way I'm going tonight. But I know there's a lot on a different sort of page. 83% of the money's on Arsenal, 60% of the money's on the over. So the over's not actually fancied too much. Remember that house special. Like I said, just going through the chat here, and looks like there's been another coach firing in the NFL. Mike McDonald is on his way out there from the Miami Dolphins. And Joe Bamber's absolutely right. The January transfer window, January coach sacking window in both sides of the pond. And I'm sure that'll be possibly a topic of discussion on tonight's Betting Weekly PM show with Doug Kazarian and Mike Carver. Shout out to those guys. Started the week with 2 straight daily double winners. been in great form, and they'll also be discussing the big college football playoff semi-final today. We've got Miami against Ole Miss, and I've got some betting breakdowns actually for those who are interested. For this one, we've got 69% of the money's on Miami and 63% of the tickets there. On the spread, though, we've got 55% of the money on Ole Miss on the spread, which is plus 3.5. And the over-under money, we've got 66% of the money is on the over on the 52.5 line. So there's a house special for in the college football as well for those who are interested. Miami and Ole Miss to combine for at least 14 first quarter points at plus 140. So that's where the house specials are today, Jack, in the first in the initial periods of each of the games that we mentioned there. So do check out the PM show, 4 p.m. Eastern time with Mike and Doug, and they'll definitely have that on the slate, and probably a bit of Miami Dolphins talk maybe as well, depending if they've got any angles on it. We've not done our daily double yet. It's your daily double today. We'll crack into it straight away. First one in Serie A, AC Milan against Genoa. AC Milan minus 245 favourites here. This is 3:15 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Genoa plus 750, tie plus 325. AC Milan been really professional since they come back from the winter break. 2 clean sheets, 2 convincing wins. Fair play to them. Genoa, I don't think they're as bad as their league position shows, but AC Milan have really come out the traps hard in 2026. I'm expecting them to win, Jack. How do you see it?
Same, yeah. I fancy Milan here. I quite like the look of the overs in this one at plus 106. I just think that the Rossi games tend to be seemingly, been fairly open, fairly high scoring recently. So at plus 106, I thought that might be worth of interest, but I've kind of reined back a little bit on that one to a certain degree for the first part of the daily double. I'm going for Milan to score over 1.5 goals, so 2+ goals, which they've done in 5 of 7 at home. And Genoa, 19 conceded in 9 road games so far this season across all competitions. Average of 2.11 conceded, 2 or more goals conceded in 6 of 9. And since De Rossi's been in charge, of the last 4 road games, he shipped 11 goals, an average of 2.75, conceding 3, 4, 1, and 3. So I think Milan are more than capable of scoring at least twice in this one. So that forms the first part of the daily double. Milan simply to score 2 or more goals.
Yeah, I agree. The bet I like here is over 2.5 goals actually at plus money. And I just can't get out this Genoa's really poor defense now. It's not like Patrick Vieira. They are more of a goal-scoring threat, but the defense has been worryingly leaky. And I think there's been at least 2 goals in every game bar 1 since the new manager took charge. And that was when Genoa were down to 10 men after about 5 minutes, or maybe less than 5 minutes. So we can almost take that one out of the equation. Milan have looked better defensively at the start of 2026, but I still can't get out of my mind some of the sloppy moments they had back end of last year. You've gone over 1.5 team total goals as first part of the daily double, and this will be a plus money play, of course. So I just want to remind people about the pizza money bonus bets. This is, if you've got your eyes on a plus money bet at Bet Rivers, Betting Weekly is giving you a little bit of pizza money to lock it in. Use our pizza money bonus code Betting Weekly 1218 in capitals. It's there on screen to get a $10 bonus bet to use on any plus money play with Bet Rivers. Betting Weekly 1218, that is, and you've got to January the 11th to redeem the code. If you're new in chat, then absolutely take advantage of that. And if you are new in chat, feel free to subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and also any likes, we really do appreciate those as well. The first part of the daily double, AC Milan over 1.5 team total goals. The second part of the daily double is going to come in the Spanish Super Cup game. We'll come to that very, very soon. But Soccer Block said, you forgot to say how you get Arsenal on side in the win. How do we get them on side? For me, it would be winning under 3.5 goals. I think Byron might have suggested it, or someone else. How do you get them on? How would you get them on side, Jack?
We're going head to head here, Steve, because my way on side is Arsenal to win and both teams to score. It's plus 200. I just felt that's a massive leap, isn't it? That's a massive leap from minus 182.
They can both win.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, man. You've said that you don't think Liverpool.
Yeah, we are a bit head to head. Yeah, we are a bit head to head.
So on that basis,
But yeah,
Yeah, I
there
just
you go.
feel that when you look at it, they- they're obviously very strong. I expect them to win, but so the both teams to score angle has landed quite regularly. Like 9 of Arsenal's last 11 domestic games has seen both teams score. 7 of Liverpool's last 8 domestic road matches have produced over 2.5 goals, and seen 6 of those games seen both teams to score. So, yeah, I just have that feeling that clean sheet record Arsenal have got. I just feel that I think Liverpool have got something in the bag tonight. They have got players that can go and perform or produce a moment of magic, and that's all it takes. And let's not forget when Arsenal were playing Villa recently, they were quite fortunate that Ollie Watkins was having a bit of an off night initially, and he had a couple of very good chances in that first half, and Villa should have scored a couple. McGinn missed that. I know the game was over at that point, but he missed a glaring opportunity right at the death, and then Watkins scored. But I think Liverpool will get a couple of chances tonight, and I think they'll take at least one. So that's my way in at a big price, in my opinion.
Yeah, plus 200. Yeah, I think it's a sort of game where there will be a split of opinion about how folk tend to see the game going. I think most would expect Arsenal to win, but the type of win, the type of game, I think it will be more of probably a 50-50 split. So it depends what you prefer. Like you say, if you think there's going to be more goals, that's probably the better way. If you think 1-0 Arsenal, then go the different route. It's all up to you out there. We are putting different suggestions into you. That one there, Arsenal win and vert shot on target, says Francis G.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the absolute beauty of modern day betting, and the fact like Bet Rivers and the Bet Builder same game parlay. You've got so many options if you fancy a little angle, and these, standard lines, the win, draw, lose lines, over and under lines, added in with the prop markets, gives you such flexibility that you can put those together to get sometimes surprisingly a very good price when you think it might not make that much difference, but you can go, wow, that has actually given it a massive boost.
Yeah. By the way, the split for the AC Milan game, 97% of the money on AC Milan, 95% of the tickets, and 94% of the money's on the over. In that game, over 2.5 goals. I think it's generous at plus money.
It looks a good price.
It's been a cold night though in Milan compared to normal. That concerns me a little bit, but ultimately it's not put me off enough because of that Genoa defense in particular. Let's move now to the Spanish Super Cup. We are in Saudi Arabia for this one, and a Madrid derby. So a tasty affair. Yesterday, I gave out Barcelona -1 or minus 1.25. They comfortably covered that one. And I think unlike the Trophy de Champion, I think this Super Cup always has a lot of goals in it. The teams just sort of open up a bit more, want to show the entertainment. And actually, in recent times, Atletico Real Madrid meetings have been very, very watchable, I think, Jack.
Yeah.
Real Madrid at plus 128. I'm not sure on neutral territory whether they should be plus 128 here, to be honest with you, the way that things have been going for them this season. Plus 190. Simeone would love to get them beat. That's for sure. Over 2.5 goals, minus 167. I think there'll be goals in the game. I think it's going to be a good watch. But the second party daily double, what are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going at a pretty safe play, to be fair, but combined, it becomes a nice price. So I've gone with both teams to score. Simple as that. Kept it simple. So both teams to score, yes, in this game. So coupled with that Milan, you're then getting plus 146 on the daily double, which I think is a good price for two very strong outcomes. There it is on screen now. Yeah, I simply like it. And I was looking tonight, obviously the games we talked about are relatively limited, and I kind of steered away from that Arsenal-Liverpool game because of reasons we talked about, and also I had some kind of more strong opinions on it in single format, and I wanted to put something different together here. And I like the AC Milan game, but this one is the one, I think, as you said, as far as the tournament is concerned, this one, it's Atletico versus Real Madrid. Wherever they play this, they could play this on Mars. It'd still be a fight. Probably a bit hot up there, to be fair on it, but it's like it would be wherever they play it is what I'm getting at. It would be an absolute crack of the game, full of fun and games with Simeone on the sidelines doing his usual histrionics and whatever. But you look at the history of this: 11 of the last 12 meetings have seen both teams to score. Yes, land It just rolls that way. Both sides have got goals in them. Both of them. This isn't Atletico Madrid of yesteryear, is it? The tight, defensive, cagey 1-0 win. Atletico Madrid. This is an Atletico Madrid that is a good watch. Got obviously high talent in their forward areas. Score plenty of goals. And we all know what Real Madrid bring to the party as well, bring to the table. Plenty of goals. 5-1 win over Betis at the weekend. Summed that up. But generally decent enough to oppose as far as conceding the goals concerned, especially when they're up against better sides like Atletico. So simple one for me. I'm denied about going on the overs. And in the end, I thought, well, I'm going to have both teams score here. Keep it quite simple. Both teams score yes in that one.
That's the official daily double today. AC Milan Genoa, AC Milan team total over 1.5 goals, and both teams score yes in Atletico against Real Madrid plus 146 as the daily double. I've actually got it down as the last 12 have been both teams to score yes in this head-to-head, Jack. The last time there was a clean sheet I've got down as the 8th of May 2022 for either side. I don't know if I've missed one somewhere, but that's an incredible run, actually, considering that Simeone in that time would have still been quite a defensive manager in the early stages.
Yeah.
So
the one I've got was the Champions League game last year.
Oh, in 90 minutes. Yeah, I've got a site here that's not including the. Yeah, you spot on there. Well spotted, Jack. You got to be careful sometimes that extra time is included with certain ones.
Yeah.
So
I'm due to be right. I weren't right at all in 2025, so I've got it right once in 2026 early, but I'll call it a day there now. That won't happen again, honestly.
It's quite a lot of folk do like both teams scoring over 2.5 goals here, and I absolutely, totally agree. And if you offer a single bet for the game, I think there's nothing wrong with over 3 Asian goals, minus 103.
Yeah.
Get nearly even money on that at all. I think there's at least 3 goals, probably more. Grazza says, would you rather bet against a 20-game streak getting to 21 or bet with it to get to 21? When the streak gets that long, I think you got to keep riding with it, Grazza, to be honest. Although then you get to a stage where in your head you're like, it's due for something different. If it's due for something, if you see a situation where the streak can end, absolutely go with it. I think you've got to really, what you should do, the right answer is just treat each match individually on its own.
Yeah.
You almost got to, I'm not saying forget the past a bit. It can get mental then, can't it, with stuff?
Yeah. I'm not one for historicals. Obviously, I put that stat out there because it surprised me, for starters. It's not one I'd use as a reason why it's going to be both teams to score, not a clean sheet tonight. But I think when you've got that kind of streak, wherever way it's come about, yeah, you treat it like on its own merits. It's like a coin toss thing, isn't it? If you've had, what do you do if you've got 25 head coin tosses? Are you going to bet tails because it's going to end, or are you going to treat it that it's 50-50 and it could go either way? And if you're getting better money on another head, then you bet it, don't you? But so that's the only way to go about it. Treat it in its own right, in its own merit.
Well, look at the Indian cricket team. They have lost an absurd number of. The one-day team has lost something like, I can't remember. Is it like
20? Isn't it?
Tosses in a row. Like, how can you lose 20 coin tosses in a row? It's ridiculous, but it can happen. So that's the way it is. Interesting betting split for this game, by the way, in the Spanish Supercopa. Atletico Madrid, 56% of the money is on Real Madrid for the game, which for Real Madrid, that's low. Like, normally they'll be backed 80% plus of the money, which suggests that bettors are maybe not as confident with them. 77% of the tickets are on Real Madrid. That's also quite low for Real Madrid. So 91% of the money's on the over for the game. I'll remind you of that daily double on screen there again now. Both teams score yes in that fixture, and AC Milan to score over 1.5 team total goals, plus 146. Let's hope we can cash in again. We had a winner yesterday. This was yesterday's daily double winner, me and Nigel combined. And at the minute, we are 2 from 3, I do believe, on both shows this week, AM and PM. The daily doubles have been really firing, Jack, so let's hope. I've got a good feeling about this one. I really do have a good feeling.
Me too.
Plus 146. So anyway, that I think will do for today. I've not seen the PSG lineup yet, Dave. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get that before we go. But tomorrow I'm
No.
going to be joined by Lewis Jones on Betting Weekly Live. And yeah, FA Cup weekend. Look out for that content on Instagram. I've still got to do my FA Cup video. I still haven't decided who I'm going to give out. I think I know I'm going to be backing. I'm going to back 2 or 3 teams to win the FA Cup, but I've got to give one out. The hitman Paul Hughes wants me to do a video.
Wow.
I'm still debating which one. It was going to be Brighton. I'm still going to back Brighton, but I'm not sure about the Man United one now. Man United.
You're just playing up to the producer now.
Exactly that. Jack, it was an absolute pleasure. That's the Daily Double. Have you got a best bet outside of that today?
Do you know, you always ask me this, don't you? And I always forget what we're talking about.
Vert shot
outside I think it's leaning towards that, isn't it? Yeah, it's leaning towards that. I was tempted just to be cheeky and go with the Arsenal and both teams to score angle, but no, let's go Vert shot on target. You've talked me into it.
My best bet is going to be on that AC Milan game over 2.5 goals plus 102, which ties in very close to your Daily Double.
Yeah, that's why you led me down the path of Verts, because I'd forgotten about that one. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think that's a brilliant. I bet that this morning individually, over 2.5. I only watered it down for the Daily Double, but I love it. Good bet.
Check out all the other content on this channel because we win. Like I said, the PM boys are going to be on at 4 p.m. Eastern time. The tennis has been on fire. Sean Calvert, what has he been? He was really confident at the Christmas do that we're at, and he has so far lived up to his words. He has been on fire. You've got to watch this tennis content. Tim Dennis and Nigel started well on the WTA as well. You can, by the way, watch live stream the WTA Auckland events along with the Serie A match, the Trophy de Champion, Serie A AC Milan against Genoa, and 3 Euro League MBB games. But loads of great content in a minute. Theo Sports, great show. First time watching, subscribing, and we'll be back. Best of luck, and Cagliari over 4.5 corners. Welcome in Theo Sports. Love that comment. Appreciate you all who watched live or on demand. Thanks so much for all your comments. If you are new, again, if you would love us subscribe to the channel, really much appreciated. But take care, gamble responsibly. Best of luck, Jack. Let's hit it hard. Let's smash this Daily Double again. And we'll see you next time. Betting Weekly Live. Goodbye.
Cheers all.